What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Live Wealthy Stocks, back with another Tesla update video where we take a look at how Tesla stock traded today, some key support and resistance levels that we're looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think the stock could do for the rest of this week. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, hit that like button down below and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out as I'm trying to grow, and comment down below if you are playing Tesla this week. Now, this is a really exciting week because it's the last week before Tesla officially is included in the S&P 500 this upcoming Monday at full float, as we know. So tons of transactions potentially already happened, but maybe to come as well. So we'll take a look at some of that. So let me hit record. We'll get right into it and take a look at how Tesla stock did today. So not too hot of a day for Tesla stock, down about $10 on the day, which is about 1.66%. Another dollar after hours, which is about 0.24%. So all in all, another red day for Tesla, close to close. NASDAQ was up about 0.5%. The Dow was down barely at 47 points, which is 0.16%. And then the S&P was the exact opposite, up 0.16%, but essentially flat for those two indexes there. So let's take a look at Tesla. We'll kind of see what happened. So if you guys remember yesterday, what we were looking at was a bounce off of this lower line that we have drawn here, a late push towards this upper level that we have drawn here, and then after hours we were kind of heading up against the support level. So the key thing that we were talking about is where the stock moves, whether it makes that push towards the kind of 640 level that we have that acted as a little bit of a resistance yesterday, and do we find support at the 626s. So in pre-market, it didn't look too bad. It was kind of finding, it looked like not support at that level, but a little above it. But right out of the gate, what we saw was a decent sell-off. We went from kind of trading at 630 all the way to 605, clearly broke the support level. So went below the support level, tried hitting up against it, but when it failed, and so this is kind of really interesting to see here, is it failed, fell below VWAP, and then was, I'm assuming, trying to make a push at that support level, or that resistance level, excuse me, again. And it couldn't even make it past VWAP, and then it fell about $20 or so, down to 605, where it then found support, and then it was gradually climbing up for the rest of the day. Here, as we could see, for about an hour or so, struggling to make it through VWAP, making it towards VWAP. At this point, it looks like it's about to go towards this support of 626, but then it ends up going sideways, really like something that it's really uncommon to see for Tesla stock. It was trading within like $3 for a couple hours, and then we saw it fall again from kind of 622 to 615, and then we saw that push again over VWAP, and then guess where it gets rejected again, where we have that resistance line, right? And then it was kind of a lower high, lower low for the rest of the day. This 611 is probably just a weird fill for someone, but kind of trading flat in the low 620s, and that's how the day looks. So yesterday we were taking a look at these two levels, 640, 626, to see where it pushes towards. It broke below that 626 and could not make it back above the 626. Now let's take a look at the daily chart and we'll see what we see. So for a while here, we're trading in the 400s range, right? And then we saw that S&P news, we pushed up, and then we were trading in these two lines. 5 trading days ago, we broke out of these lines, and then we have been, that line has acted as support, but today we weren't even close to that line, but instead we see another little red candle here where we made both a lower high and a lower low than yesterday. So let's take a look at the EMAs that we see on the daily chart. One good thing to note here is we still have the A EMA, we still closed above it. We see that we dipped a decent amount below it, right? We dipped all the way down to 605. The A EMA is at 619 currently, but we closed above it. That's a point that I'm closely monitoring. If we see over here, these two candles look pretty much alike. Do we see another green day tomorrow? I don't know, right? So that's something interesting, right? Is the fact that we hit a similar candle where we had a red day, but closed above it. So we'll kind of see what happens tomorrow. We've got that AEMA that I think hopefully we keep closing above in the 619s, and then the 21 EMA at 576. The moving averages, the first one comes down all the way at 582 if we were to fall that much. Now, from a price level perspective, right, on the daily chart, chart, what do we see? Well, we've made both a lower high and a lower low. So the low of today, I think, should act as a level of support in the 605s. And then the high of today should act as a resistance, as we also saw from sort of that line that we had drawn. So that low of today 605, the high of today 632, but I think realistically the 626 will be our first support, or excuse me, first resistance point that the Tesla stock has to break if it wants to go any higher. Moving on the rest of the week, I think it's really important because a lot of people are anticipating some buying coming in for the S&P inclusion, but like I've always said, I look for the confirmation before I go in. I've seen a lot of people talking about, buy Tesla and hold Tesla this week, or do, they call it risk-free until this Friday. And I just want to kind of reiterate that that's not necessarily true, right? Big institutions want to buy in, they could push the stock price down. They have way more capital than individual investors do. They might want to push it down so they can buy in at cheap. They might want to push it down so they could shake some people out. Anything can really happen, so just to be careful of that. I'm not saying Tesla stock is going to tank. That is absolutely not what I'm saying, but just be mindful of that. I personally think that we do still have a chance to go up, but my way of trading is I'm looking at levels at a time, right? So tomorrow, if we have a red day, I'm looking to see where the stock finds support. If it finds support at a certain level, great. If it doesn't, I'm looking for the next level. Similarly, I'm looking for it to break that 626 first and then that 640 before I say Tesla to 700, right? I think Tesla 700 still could happen, but to me it's 626, 640 on the daily chart, our next high at 654, right? Those three levels need to come before I say Tesla to 700. I know some people want to hear that, but I'd much rather speak the truth in what I actually think than to make a video about Tesla to 700. I do think eventually Tesla will get to 700. I just think that there is a lot of sort of little resistance points to knock out, if you will. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart, these same indicators and these EMAs. So as we see today, we're kind of hovering around this line right here, which is the 34 EMA coming in right at 620, and that's where we were for today. From yesterday, right, we were finding support near the 21 EMA, so we did drop a little to the 34 EMA. So it'll be interesting to see if we can continue the 34 EMA as support on the 4-hour chart, or if we drop even further to potentially the 55 EMA, right? So that's something that I'm watching as well moving forward. But another thing that I want to point out is on the hourly chart, right, what we'll see here is we do have, some additional level of support, I think, in the 615s. I'm not going to draw a line here just because I don't necessarily, let's draw a line. Why not? Yeah, I think this isn't a perfect line, right? Because we've bounced off of it kind of, but also we've gone below it. So I think the 626 line is a solid level of resistance. Hopefully the 614 holds a support, but if not, we've got that 605 and then 600 as a mental resistance. Now, one other thing that I want to point out that I've pointed out the past couple of days is let me bring in my Tastyworks real quick. It won't let me drag it. There we go. So what we see here is the 15 EMA on the 4-hour chart and the 180-day SMA on the 4-hour chart. The reason I'm talking about these is because if we go back to August, the last time we broke below this EMA, this 15 EMA on the 4-hour chart in the 467s, we dropped all the way to 340s, and then it happened again about a month later when we dropped from 436 to 370s. Now, it is happening right now where we are pretty close to it. Let me zoom in just a little bit and we'll kind of see what I'm talking about, right? So this is today's candles on the 4-hour chart. What we see is yesterday we were above it, finding decent level of support. Today we were not really able to make it above the 15 EMA on the 4-hour chart. The 15 EMA right now is at 626. As we saw, we are at 622. So $4 off. Not to say that if we don't kind of make it over the 15 EMA that we fall all the way to the 180-day SMA, which is at 508, 505, 508. I don't think we fall all the way to 508, right? We've got good levels of support, I think, between those two levels, but if history is any indication, we could see a little bit of a sell-off. Now, we do have a lot of buying pressure as we're sort of anticipating as well, right? So not saying that that happens this week, but just something to keep in mind. I saw it, so I thought I'd point it out to you guys as well. Now, moving forward, I think it's really important to see what Tesla does, right? If we have another red day, then it's important to focus on what our next level of support is. Today's low of 605, we've got some further support points that I talked about in the EMAs, as well as mental resistance at 600 if we see a red day. If we see a green day tomorrow and Tesla's pushing up, 626 is the first level to knock out, 640 is the next level to knock out, and then we've got that 650s high that we set, I think, last week or so. That's at an all-time high. And then from there on, it's anyone's guess on where Tesla goes. But, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys are doing this week. Now, I know a lot of people still think it's going to run the end of the, from now until the end of the week. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, but I'm just kind of waiting to see that actually happen before I kind of put all my money in it. As I mentioned, I'm only doing intraday plays on Tesla, as well as a vertical put spread that I have on, that expires this Friday. I'm not holding anything overnight just due to the volatility of everything related to this S&P inclusion. I think it has the potential to run, but I also think that, big institutions could cause some selling pressure, and I don't want to be caught in the middle of that. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel down below. Let me know what your thoughts on Tesla are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down in the comment section. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.